And that first night in Copenhagen ruined us for the rest of the tour because it was the most amazing show. So after the fourth applause break, I was like, am I getting punked?
This is Folded Curiosity. How does comedy, I mean, that's a question I always have. I see comedians touring, I guess, in non-English speaking countries. Does it translate or is it?
It's, you know what's funny? Because Brad and I had this conversation the night before the first show in Copenhagen because it was our first, it was his first European tour. It was my second time playing in Europe, but the first time I did like London. I did a couple of shows in London. And we were like, how's this going to work? Because it's not their first language and we got to change, you know, references, and do we have to speak slower because, you know, it isn't their first language. And I even said to Brad, I'm like, hey man, would you mind if I only did 15 minutes instead of like 30 the first night? And he's like, hey man, I might only do 30 myself. And that first night in Copenhagen ruined us for the rest of the show because it was the most amazing show. So the Copenhagen show ruined us for the rest of the tour because I was like, after the fourth applause break, I was like, am I getting punked? Like, these jokes aren't this good. I know, like, I've done this joke 1,000 times. It is not applause break worthy good. But Copenhagen, that first show was like bonkers good. Oslo was fine. It was more of a cultural, like, they're more polite.
It's pretty far north too.
Yeah. Sure. Amsterdam was good. London was good. Dublin was great. But I mean, for those specific countries that we went to, because like everybody speaks English there. It might not be their first language, but they speak it fluently. I mean, it's the same trouble I have going from like doing shows in LA to doing shows in like the Chuckle Hut in Iowa. Like the references might be different, you know, like
a cultural difference and
little cultural differences.
Sure.
But those particular shows weren't any better or worse than any, you know, shows I've done in the States. But yeah, Copenhagen was a banger. That's a banger of a show. It was so great.
I would not have expected them to, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just would think there's like a, you know, because there's cultural reference. Comedy's really nuanced. So
the thing with the references, like, you do have to understand, and I learned this last year when I was in London. I did some shows in London. And I have a joke that I reference Olive Garden. And I had to ask somebody, I was like, do you guys have Olive Garden here? And they're like, no. I was like, okay, so what mid-tier Italian place do you guys have? And they told me, I think it was like called Pizza Express or something. So I literally just substituted Pizza Express with Olive Garden. It's meaningless, but changing that reference and understanding that they don't know what Olive Garden is.
Right.
Made that joke work. Because if I'd said Olive Garden, people would be like, what the fuck is the Olive Garden? Yeah. But, you know, like, if the premise of a joke is funny and the punchline is funny, and you really don't have to change, like, you know, Burger King to Hungry Jack's if you're in Australia. That's it. And same with, like, in Copenhagen or Oslo. Like, there are overall internationally recognized things like Ronald McDonald and Santa Claus and shit like that. But, you know, you just figure out what references work and don't work.
Regional references.
But that's the same thing with, you know, here. We don't have Waffle Houses here.
Sure.
You go to the South, all over the place.
Thanks for watching. If you like this segment, you can catch the full episode on my channel or just click below. And if you're listening on audio or Spotify, the full video's up now on YouTube.